This was me in 2025. I knew I could be doing more. I knew I could be taking action, but I was so lost within my own mind that I just didn't. But soon, that all changed. My name is Brandon, and this video could help change your life. If you're somebody who struggled with video game addiction, porn addiction, masturbation, binge eating, you can't stop like shoving Oreos in your face. So little confidence that when you look over and there's a cute girl you want to talk to, you can't because your legs simply won't get up and just walk to her and speak to her. If you're somebody who struggled to maintain an actual relationship just because you feel gross and like your girl's always doing things and like there's always something wrong and actually that didn't happen, it's literally just because your own mind keeps playing tricks on you, then continue. This video is for you. My goal is to help you improve your life with these 6 steps that I'm going to be laying out for you. Watch the entire thing in full because it's in its specific order for a reason, and we will get right into it. Step number 1, taking action. I'm sure you've heard of him. There's this guy named Hamza Ahmed. He is a self-improvement YouTuber, one of the biggest in the space. And a couple years ago, I'm pretty sure, I want to say 4 years ago, he made a guide called something along the lines of Fixing Your Life Self-Improvement Guide. And one of the first steps within that guide was taking action. One of the first things you're supposed to do was take action on the things that are happening in your life, and it's taking control. A lot of people have bad mental health, bad physical health, simply because they refuse to take the smallest action, build the smallest habit to where they're able to expand on it. The only reason why you're going down and you feel like you're deteriorating in life is because you haven't done action. So this is an actionable step for you. One of the biggest things when it comes to changing identity, shifting your mindset, is changing the environment around you, changing your setting. So your actionable step is make your bed, organize your room, do something within your own room, the space that you're sitting right now. If you're not in a room, then like obviously you can wait or just go like clean something. Like if you're in your kitchen, just wash a dish for no reason. Your parents might even look at you like, why are you washing a dish? And you just be like, I felt like it. Do something. This is your actionable because this is going to help you take control. Even if it's just a little bit, even if it's just folding one sheet in your bedroom, you have clothes everywhere, like you have stains on your wall from, you're doing. You have weird stains everywhere. You have like a bunch of papers on your desk and it just looks unclean and really overkept. Just fold one sheet. Put one piece of paper in your desk. Put a stack of paper in your desk. Pause the video, go and do this because this is the most important thing, and this is 100% your determiner for whether or not you're somebody who is capable of changing your life. And it's as simple as, I have this pencil right here, I'm going to go put it away. The sheer fact of taking action shows that you are able to do the things that are required, at least to some degree, in order to improve and fix your life. That was the first step. Taking action. Step number 2, faith. A love for God changed my life. I am, if my necklace wants to show it, I am a Christian. And it took me years before I was even willing to openly talk about that. And throughout that time, it became more and more apparent to me that this is the way and this is the way I want to live as a religious young man. And maybe that's not the case for you right now, but you cannot deny the fact that study after study has shown that religious people are happier, religious people on average are more fulfilled, religious people on average are in more social situations and more social settings and are more comfortable in social situations. There is at least some benefit towards it. So if you're an atheist, I'm not going to be able to convince you once in this video that you need to believe in my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, because then I'd be annoying and you would click off. But what I can do is just look into it. Just try it. And if it's something that sits well with you, if it's something that just feels right, but even though you don't understand it, then stick with it, because that's exactly what I did. I was only going to be a Christian for like a month or a couple weeks even. 2 years later, I'm still one, and now I'm talking about it. And it's the entire basis of my entire existence. One of my goals for the summer is to read the entirety of the Bible. That's a lot of words. So it's something that really has an impact on you. So actionable step for you right now for this step is to be conscious of your faith. Learn about it. You don't need to make a decision yet, but the point is you should be someone who is willing to at least learn about it. That has been step 2, faith. Step 3, mental health. I wanted to kill myself. When I was 12, it was the prime of COVID, 2020. My entire daily routine is I would fall asleep around 2, 3 a.m. I would wake up probably around 12 or 1 p.m. I would go on my phone. Or I might have even had an iPod then. I don't know if I'm old enough to where that was a thing. But I had my iPod, I had my phone. I would go on to like porn websites. I would stay on YouTube Shorts, and I had an account dedicated to like girls shaking their butt and doing weird provocative dances. Like I had a dedicated account to that, like Google account, like YouTube channel. And I would masturbate 3, 4, 5 times some days, like genuinely crazy stuff. And I woke up with zero energy because I didn't sleep. I just wasted all my life force in bed. I would get up. Normally, my mom would make me like some kind of cereal or whatever. So I would start the day with like really sugary stuff, like really low level carbs, like simple carbohydrates. You have complex carbs and simple carbs. Simple carbs are the one that's bad for you. Complex carbs are the one that's good for you. I was eating the simple carbs, so I was having the worst possible kind, and like fruity cereal and a bunch of weird like refined sugary stuff. And after around half an hour of eating, I would maybe sit around for 10, 15, 20 minutes, however long my parents let me. And I would immediately go to my computer, start doing online school. And most of the time I was lying about my grades. I was telling them like, oh yeah, I got a B in this subject and an A in this subject, and I'm ahead in this subject, when really I was playing video games for 6 hours before I would tell them I was done, when school only took me like 3 or 4. I was broken. And the I think I have 3 habits here. Yeah, I have 3 habits. These 3 things changed my life so much that I struggle with none of the things I used to struggle with. Honestly, my biggest struggle right now in life is literally making sure my sleep is good, because I'm so excited for my day and so excited for my life that I find it difficult to fall asleep, because I'm constantly working, I'm constantly doing something, I'm constantly trying to build something and learn. I feel amazing. And if you relate to that original story I told you, how I was back in 2020, when that was a daily occurrence, when I remember another time I was doing dishes, and there was a giant like steak knife. And I remember just like gliding it across my wrist and literally just slicing my wrist open and just being dead. Wondering what would happen if I had stabbed myself in the bathroom. I'd always heard like suicide victims would like stab themselves and then run the tub water. And I was curious on trying that for days, weeks, maybe even months. I don't know how bad it got, because it only stayed bad for like a short period of time, but it could have honestly been month or multiple months. So this stuff is real. And these are the 3 things, 3 main habits that genuinely changed my life forever. And those are gratitude, meditation, and I put cardio down, but I want to specify walking, and walking in nature. Notice how I didn't say staying off porn. Notice how I didn't say getting off social media. Notice how I didn't say no scrolling. Notice how I didn't say cut out the video games. These bad habits are due to a lack of mental health. They're not in spite of it. It's because your mental health's so bad, these other things fulfill you so much more than your regular life when they're not fulfilling at all, that you flock to them, that you go to them. And by doing good habits, you'll make 10 times more progress on quitting the bad ones than you ever would when you just try and get rid of the bad ones or just try and keep good ones. So, here's a guide to each habit. First, starting with gratitude. Yale University talks about it, and these are some of the bullet points that I've heard that they've spoken about. They have a free online course. If you look up on, I believe it's Coursify. If you look up it's spelt course, and then instead of an E, it's IFA or EA or whatever. It's about Coursify or Coursera or whichever one, and they talk about, and it's Yale University, they have two free courses for teens and adults on how to improve your mental health and what mental health is and kind of all the tells and signs of how you can fix it. And these are some of the things that it goes through for gratitude. So first thing, write it down. What I want you to do is, and I'm going to do it too, I didn't prepare for this, so hold on. What I want you to do is I want you to get a small journal like this. It can be a school notebook. It can just be a piece of paper if you have it. It can be notes on your phone. And I want you to, I'm going to turn to a blank page. Blank page. It is currently May 4th, 2025, or May 25th, 2025, or 28th actually. So you write that down. Now, what I want you to do is I want you to write down 3 things you're grateful for. So I'm going to do that too. So I'm grateful for, what am I grateful for? I'm not going to write the whole I'm grateful for thing. Normally you would write the full sentence, I'm grateful for X, but I'm not going to do that just for time's sake. And I know people don't have an attention span, so they're going to click off this. So I'm grateful for my coffee mug because it's one of my favorite mugs. My parents, for Christmas, as a joke, because they know that I hate Starbucks, they got me a Starbucks mug, and it's my absolute favorite mug. That's thing number 1. Thing number 2 is I'm grateful for the microphone I'm using because the audio sounds way better. So my mic. So I'd write, I'm grateful for my microphone because the audio sounds way better. And if you want to expand on it anymore, the formula you can use is I'm grateful for X because Y. So I'm grateful for my coffee mug this morning because my parents gave it to me thinking I'd hate it, but I actually love it. I'm grateful for my mic because it makes the audio sound way better. I'm grateful for my computer monitor because it's very high hertz and it just looks nice when you like glide the mouse across because it moves a lot slower. So I'm going to put my monitor. 3 things. That maybe took me 1 minute, 2 minutes maybe. And that's with me talking. When you do this, every morning. So I want you to do one of these habits in the morning, one of these habits in the night. You can come up with a specific time and a specific routine. I like to do it just whenever I feel like it, but I'm at the stage to where it's not a habit for me, or it is a habit, but it's not a non-habit. So I'm able to just go in, I'm able to write down some things I'm grateful for, literally when I'm grateful for them, kind of just when I feel like it. But the thing is, when you do this more, you feel like it more. And so what I want you to do is when the first things you do when you wake up, write this down, put it on a piece of paper. One of the first things you do when you wake up, write down 3 to 5 things you're grateful for. 3 to 10 things you're grateful for. 3 to 20. Write down things you're grateful for. I've tried setting a time for how long you write down things. So like for 5 minutes, I'm going to write things I'm grateful for. I've tried for a specific number. I've tried for a specific topic or person or thing. Just write things. That's the entire point. You're going to write it down so it's in your head and you have to think about it because it's very difficult if you say, I'm going to write down 10 things, thinking about 10 things you're grateful for around you. And I did it kind of quickly. And even then I still like stuttered a tiny bit, but you have all of this stuff around you. You have a roof, you have a house, you have lamps, you have probably a cool picture or a cool object in your room, like a gaming console. Write down these things and you write down in as much detail as you want, but at least the framework I gave you. I'm grateful for this thing because of this thing, or I'm grateful for this thing because of. Write that down, because when you constantly instill it into your brain, especially in the beginning and end of the day, right when you wake up and right before you go to sleep, it sets new wiring for your brain, and it allows you to be more grateful for things on a regular basis. And one of the things that the Yale course was talking about was that, or maybe it wasn't the Yale course, but I heard this from a different scientist. It might have been the Yale course. But one of the key things when it comes to gratitude is that your body cannot experience anxiety and gratitude at the same time, or it can't experience fear and gratitude at the same time. It's some negative emotion that's super common you can't experience at the same time as gratitude. I'm pretty sure it's anxiety. If you're anxious but you feel grateful, then you're not anxious, because it comes from the same part of the brain. So when you write it down, it's going to become a case of your brain going, huh, I woke up with a ton of anxiety, because that's something I used to do too. Wake up just purely anxious about life. When you wake up like that, but now you're grateful, the anxiety might come back 5 minutes later, yeah, but you just spent 5 minutes not anxious. So it's something you should really do. Second thing is speak it out. Say the things you're grateful for, like I was saying before. So literally, you can set a goal to set on, like, it's the same framework. I'm grateful for X because Y. And I would do it in the morning or at nighttime, maybe like away from people, because it's kind of weird them hearing you say confidently, I'm grateful for the my varsity letter or whatever. Say things you're grateful for. I'm going to say three things. I'm grateful for the thumbtacks that are in my wall, because they're easy to move and it's easy to change scenery within my room when I want to show my medals or my wrestling plaque back there. I'm grateful for my dry erase boards and dry erase markers, because I'm able to put nice messages and to-do lists and all that kind of stuff on my whiteboards in the morning. I'm grateful for one of the stuffed animals one of my friends gave me. She graduated, and I would always walk her home with her and a couple other friends, and she gave me it's like a little cookie thing. It's like a little guy with one of those masks on, like the thieves have in TV shows, and he has a cookie on him, and I think it looks dope. I'm grateful for all the notes that my girlfriend has gave me throughout however long. These are just some of them. These are only the ones that, like, I put up on this wall. I still need to change the scenery to where it looks like more masculine or whatever. But speak it out. Say the things that you mean, and say the things you're grateful for. This is the next stage. So it goes, write it down, then speaking it out. This one's more powerful, but this one's a lot easier to do, because a lot of people, again, aren't confident enough to literally be in a room by themselves and be like, this is stupid. Why am I doing this? The thing is, nobody cares. Nobody notices you. Nobody realizes that, oh, he's being an idiot. Maybe your family might give you crap if, like, you're being loud and you're doing affirmation type stuff. But if you just say quietly to yourself, I'm grateful for my bed sheets, because I don't have to sleep on a regular bed, and I'm grateful for my laptop because it lets me read notes off it during these videos. Something along those lines. So that's the second thing when it comes to purely gratitude, is speaking it out. Step number 3, send it to someone. Me and my girlfriend and me and some of my old friends had this exercise where every day we would say one thing we're grateful for the other person about. And this is the most powerful kind of gratitude. And this is why prayer is so important, because when you pray, it gives gratitude to God. And when you're doing like a gratitude type prayer, it's showing gratefulness for him and appreciation for him, which is a super, super powerful thing, because this sets the stage for sending it to someone. Say it to someone. If you have a friend in real life, if a brother or a mom is in your life, or a dad or whatever, literally just go up to them and say, like, hey, Dad, I'm really grateful for you always working hard for us. I'm sure it's not always easy. And he'll be like, what the fuck? This is my kid? Because, like, you probably don't speak to him a ton. He'll be like, oh, thank you. And he'll feel really good about it. And the thing is, when you get to see that reaction, it reinforces a positive response. So you're going to want to do it more. So those are the 3 things. Your actionable step right now. Write down 3 things you're grateful for at the minimum. If you want to say them afterwards, that's something that you can do. Is you can, I have to readjust my camera. That's something you can do. You can write them down and then say them so you have something to say. And then you can like jot down the date. That's all you have to do. Get a notebook, get a notes app on your phone. It literally doesn't have to look pretty. It doesn't have to be uniform. I've discovered that nobody in the world goes back and reads them unless it's years later or months later. So you don't have to make it super pretty. You don't have to make anything like specifically formatted. Just make sure you have the date and your points. That's it. And your formula is I'm grateful for X because of Y. I'm grateful for my cross necklace because it looks nice and it matches with my chain and I got to wear my chain. That's it. Next thing, meditation. A lot of Christians are against this, but I'm for it and I'm going to be promoting it to you because I believe it's 100% a good thing if you do it the way that I'm teaching you how to do it. All you have to do is, when you meditate, so many people get this wrong. All you do is sit down, lay down somewhere quiet. All you do is breathe deeply and focus on the breath. A lot of people say meditation doesn't work for me because I can't focus. That's the point. Do you have someone who's fat and out of shape who weighs 200 pounds over their regular weight limit? If they said to you after 3 workouts, after a month of working out, no, I haven't lost, I don't have a six pack yet. Exercise doesn't work. Of course not. You would look at that person and think that they're an idiot. So why are you doing it with meditation? So many people, well, and I'm not saying you specifically, but so many people will say meditation doesn't work because it doesn't work for me and I'm not able to do it and it's this and this and this. The whole point of meditation is it's kind of like a triangle. You are focused, you lose focus, you regain focus, and you stay present. So it's kind of like a square, if you want to look at it that way. What you do is you sit down, you focus on your breath, your focus. Then your mind wanders somewhere. That's the next step. Then you realize that your mind wanders, and then you fix it by focusing back on your breath. This is called mindfulness meditation. This is being mindful. This is being present. What I like to do as a Christian, and if you're religious as well, what I like to do is just thinking about it as like presence time with God, just like feeling the spirit, feeling whatever. I'm not going to go into that a ton because maybe a ton of atheists are watching this. And again, they'll click off and not learn any of the lessons if I talk about it in that way. But any religious person kind of understands what I mean by like feeling the spirit, feeling God's presence or whatever, knowing that he's with you because scripture talks about it a ton and we just understand it better. That's genuinely just how it works. And that's all you have to do. So, meditation is about refocusing, not keeping focus. There's not a single person on earth who can meditate for longer than like a couple minutes and not lose focus at least once. The point is, though, when you do lose focus, you get your focus back. So, your actionable step is literally just take 3 deep breaths with me right now. So, what we're going to do is I'm going to get somewhat close to the mic so you can hear me breathe. Yeah. Close your eyes. If you're in like a public place and you're watching this at this point for some reason, then maybe you don't have to do this, but just like close your eyes, sit there with your phone out, kind of tilt your head down to where people can't see your eyes and they can't see that like you're being a weirdo and you're doing deep breaths. But all you're doing is deep breath in, deep breath out, and then in, and then out. You can try and breathe deeply. You can focus on, whoa, my mind is like, I just had like a weird rush of blood throughout my brain. Your focus is focusing on your breath. So if you want to practice breathing deeply, if you want to practice breathing how you normally breathe, and you just focus on it and you pay attention to it and you're conscious of it, either way is completely fine. Your only goal is to just recenter. It's like gaining another piece of experience, like in a video game. When you recenter, when you refocus, that's when you're actually making progress. It's like doing a curl when you're like working out your biceps or whatever. It's an act of exercise that's going to stimulate you to grow. And that's how meditation works. That's been meditation. So, cardio, next thing. There's a couple lessons I can give you here. 150 minutes a week is the basic bare bones requirement for human health. And that's like bare bone. That's like basic. That's regular everyday people. If you're watching this, especially up to this point, you're not a regular everyday person. You're probably going to get really, really good at what we're doing. You're just not there yet. This is at a light intensity, so you're not trying hard. It's like if you're good at jogging, then it's an easy jog a couple times a week for like 10, 15, 20 minutes. Most people it's walking. For me, it's walking and boxing. And the third thing is do the kind that you like. So many people will be like, gotta fucking, gotta grind, man. Gotta get into my Goggins mentality, bro. The whole point for this is mental health and enjoyment. The entire purpose of this is to do the things that are good for you, is to work on thinking, to work on being okay with those thoughts and getting your parasympathetic nervous system to work. We talked about the parasympathetic nervous system. Actually, no, I was recording a video on that earlier. Never mind, scratch that completely. The parasympathetic nervous system, basically you have two nervous systems, your sympathetic nervous system and your parasympathetic nervous system. Your sympathetic nervous system is like your fight or flight response. So it's like boxing and wrestling and being super loud and obnoxious with friends, like socializing super hard. Your parasympathetic nervous system is essentially your rest and digest nervous system. So that's when you're ready to sleep. That's when your body's digesting its food. That's when you're calm and your heart rate's down. When you do this type of cardio, it elevates your heart rate a little bit, but you're still in the parasympathetic mode because of the fact that it's just a calming, zenful experience. So I like to go in the morning because I live in a hot box. Literally, the state that I live in is literally one of the hottest places in the world right now, other than like literal deserts. And I think it's like top 10, top 15. But I like when I do go for walks, I like going in the morning or a box in the morning. So, like I was saying before, do a kind that you like. The lesson of this is you can use this as a time to socialize. You can use this as a time to get out in nature, which is super healthy in general. You can use it to learn if you're going on a 15, 20-minute walk. You can listen to part of an ebook. You can listen to a piece of educational content like the stuff on my channel for 20 minutes. Most of my videos are longer than that. Take this as a time to just chill and decompress because throughout the day, there's just so much buildup. And when you have a period of time where it's just chill, where it's just calm, that's awesome. And it's super relaxing and it's really hard to do. So, like, step one was just take action on it, just work towards it. Because obviously, if you were to start like with 3 hours a day, you're probably not going to be able to do that. Literally, just step outside, put on your shoes, walk up and down your driveway. I had a client that I was helping lose weight, and he was like, "Yeah, no, it should." Well, it was more like a consultation type thing. So I wasn't like managing his weight loss and all that, but I was helping him and I was like walking him through it. And he was talking to me about he just doesn't know how to start. Like he tried walking for 10 minutes, only walked for like one or two, gave up, all this stuff. And I said, dude, just set a smaller goal and then build on it. Think of the thought of progressive overload. So every day do a little bit more up until you get to like the 10 minutes you wanted to hit. So I told him, walk back and forth within your own room because he had a problem of staying on his computer for like 10, 12, 13 hours a day. Walk back and forth in your own room a couple times. That's a good thing. Walk up and down to your mailbox. Now, after months of this, he goes on long walks every day, every morning. As far as I know, he's in the gym, he's exercising, he progressively overloaded, which means continuing on with his progress so much that he's become fairly successful in his weight loss journey and he's lost a pretty decent amount of weight. This is good. So, your actionable step within this video is to write down a timetable or write down a time or a specific date that you plan to do a type of cardio, whether it's a socialization thing where you're playing a sport with friends, whether it's a personal training where you go boxing or you go running or whatever, if it's like a peaceful walk where you learn something or you just experience nature and you get out in the sunlight or you go on a walk with your dog or something, this is all so good for you. And literally, it doesn't matter when it comes to purely health, just your mental health will improve so much just from this one thing. How you can track these things is making a mental health tracker. So what I like to do is I like to take a piece of paper. I'm going to actually make it right here in front of you to show you how simple it is. We have another blank piece of paper. What I want you to do is, most pieces of paper have lines like this. If it doesn't, just make lines. Try and make space for there to be around 20, 21. If there's more or less, it's completely fine. But all you're going to do is you're going to make your horizontal lines, so the ones going side to side. You're going to make vertical lines like this, right here. And then you're going to write down your habits. So you have gratitude journaling, you put a G. You have meditation, you can put an M. What else do you have? Cardio, you can put. You can put, if you want to do other things, you can do eat clean. So like eat, EC is what I would put, because I like to put the first letters of each word. I don't put like the full thing because it takes up a ton of space. And then you have this. So these are your habits now. And to expand on it, you can number them. So you can do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I'm only going to go up to 10, but put like 20, 21 right here. Now, throughout the days, you're on day 1. If you've been following along with this video, check off gratitude because you wrote down a few gratitude points. You said a couple of them. Check off meditation because you did the 3 deep breaths. I don't know if you've done any kind of walk today, but literally just do like 100 jumping jacks, 50 jumping jacks. Check that off. And then you probably haven't eaten clean, so we're going to leave that blank. This is your first day. That's a 75% your first ever time trying. And the thing is, when you're a beginner, when you're just starting off, don't set a specific time for anything. Just get it done. Do the bare minimum if you don't want to do it. Obviously, try to do as much as you possibly can. Write down like a decent amount of gratitude points, like aim for 5 to 10. Meditate for anywhere from, as a beginner, probably like a minute to 5 minutes. And then as you get better at it, I found that meditation actually gets easier the more you do it because it compounds so much. So 15 minutes for me is actually easier than 5 minutes. But in the beginning, do like 1 to 5 minutes. But if you don't feel like it and you really just can't be bothered, then all you have to do is just say, okay, I'm going to do 3 deep breaths. I'm going to do 1 deep breath. And then check it off. That's literally it. It's so simple. It is so easy. In the beginning, you're just focusing on consistency. And that is everything. I'm going to leave this unzipped in case I use it again. So that is making your habit tracker. This is the absolute cheat code. Next cheat code is a good morning routine, and I'm going to call this a morning routine hack. So what you're going to do is you can also take this on a piece of paper if you feel like it. If you want to, I should say. You don't have to, but if you don't have like a morning routine already, do this. What we're gonna do is we're gonna set a time to wake up. You can do 6 a.m., 7 a.m. It doesn't really matter, just the time you can wake up. I'm saying 6 or 7 a.m. for the sake of this. So for 1, I would put wake up. Right that here. Wake up. Number 2, second thing you do is go to the bathroom. Go restroom, I'm gonna say, and wash face. So I'm gonna wash my face in the morning as well. Okay, and you would continue on with this. I'm not going to keep doing it because it's going to look like a little wonky, but you know about what it should look like. Next thing you're going to do is, this is just a sample routine, is go to your room, meditate for 5 minutes. Taking breaks is fine. If you have to like pause and look around and walk around, that's completely fine. Just try and get 5 minutes in as a starting point. If you're not able to do that, because genuinely, like, not to give you any crap or anything, just that's how it is. If your attention span is super, super fried, then meditating for 5 minutes might be actually a very daunting, difficult task. Just try, work through it, take breaks in between. What I've been doing recently, or what I did recently, I kind of stopped. I've been doing all the way through with 15 minutes. But what I was doing when I got back into meditation, because I had stopped for a while because I was learning about like the difference between Christian prayer and meditation, and like underneath the Christian faith. What what I would do is, if my goal is to meditate 15 minutes, I would meditate 3 minutes here, 1 minute here, 5 minutes here, 3 minutes here, and I would just do it throughout the day. And at the end of the day, I compounded 15 minutes, and I like doing it like that. Now I like doing it more in one straight session, but it's entirely up to you with what you want to do. Next thing you do right after is journal 5 things that you're grateful for. And after you journal, you go outside. The sun should be up. Sunlight in the morning is very, very good for you. Just as a side point, it's amazing for you. I just didn't list it because it's not enough for me to talk about specifically. But basically, it sets like your circadian rhythm. It sets like serotonin going in your brain, which is like kind of the fulfillment hormone. If you think about dopamine being as a happiness hormone, then serotonin is like the fulfillment hormone, where you feel good, where you feel not prideful in like a sinful way, but prideful is in a way of, wow, this thing that I did is absolutely amazing, and I'm so happy that I accomplished this. Serotonin gets released. What you do now is go for a walk for 10, 20, 30 minutes, probably aim for like 20 or 30 minutes. Again, you don't have to, but you're going to do all this in the morning, and you're going to do it all first thing because it's probably going to be the most difficult thing for you today, because of the fact that it's just hard to start new habits. It takes 20 to 60 days to form a new habit, and it's just difficult. So you need to be able to discipline yourself for about 30 or 40 minutes, which again is super, super hard for a lot of people. Me, old me especially, it took me so much trial and error to even get through this basic bare bones morning routine. But you need to try, and that's the point. And doing the bare minimum is fine in the beginning. That was step 3, mental health. Step number 4 is your physical health. So we talked about doing cardio before, which is kind of physical health, but it's not high quality enough. What we need to be doing is lifting weights. We need to be getting into the gym, and we need to be doing like regular, everyday hard cardio. If you've never exercised before, your goal is just to work on consistency. So you're going to do 10 push-ups a day, 20 squats a day. Just do some kind of exercise where it's you pushing your body. Go as hard as you feel like going. If it's 1 push-up, if it's 2 push-ups, if it's 1 squat, if it's a 30-second wall sit, I could care less. Your entire point in the beginning, put it on your habit tracker. So on our habit tracker right here, we will put, let me grab it. We'll put exercise. So this E is going to stand for exercise. Do your literal actionable step for right now, if you don't regularly exercise, and don't cope and be like, well, I train twice a week and I lift for 10 minutes, so it counts. It doesn't count. Well, it does, but we want to be doing more. The goal is consistency over a long period. So 5 minutes a day is better than 15 minutes twice a week, because that'll lead to a larger number. So this exercise here, exercise, do 5 push-ups right now. If you're not able to do a push-up, do them on your knees. If you're not able to do them on your knees, do them on a wall. We check that off. When you have a gym membership, this is what you need to focus on. Find a schedule where you can exercise your full body 2 to 4 times a week. Full body isn't like you're training your full body throughout the week, not like you're training your full body 4 times a week. That would be absolutely insane. More isn't better, it's just different, especially as a beginner. Prioritize compound movements, which is essentially movements like bench presses, squats, deadlifts, things that work a ton of muscles all at once. That isn't like a bicep curl, for example, or like a hamstring curl. The difference between a compound lift versus an isolation lift would be, an isolation lift is the other type of lift that I'm going to be explaining right now. Is a compound lift, you can almost always lift more weight on it. It almost always uses more muscles, and it almost always is more fatiguing, which is completely fine, because as a beginner, you're not actually strong enough to tire yourself out that much when it comes to like your pushing ability, like pushing yourself in the gym. Like obviously if you're doing pull-ups, I mean pushing yourself is in like just training hard and doing hard tasks. Prioritize compound movements. Do 2 to 3 sets in exercise, 4 to 6 sets of workout. work on adding more weight or reps over time, and prioritize athletic movements with barbells and dumbbells, and stand up whenever it's possible. That's a philosophy that I learned from Mario Rios. I actually worked with him for a little bit. Prioritize athletic movements with barbells and dumbbells, which basically means don't use machines. Don't listen to these weird, stupid influencers who are like, no, everybody needs to be using machines. They're better for muscle growth. We have at least one study that I know of that compares muscle growth between machines and free weights, which is just barbells and dumbbells and cables, and it is the exact same. The only difference is machines are fixed range of motion. So if you're thinking about it, you can only push in this way. With a barbell or a dumbbell, you can control it however you want when gravity is pushing down on you. So with barbell and dumbbell, it's more specific to how real life will be, and that's going to allow you to be more athletic. That's going to allow you to be not more explosive. Probably, honestly, the machine will let you be more explosive, but it's going to protect you a little bit more. It's going to work on the muscles that aren't very strong more, that are mostly used for stability. And it's just going to make you stronger, healthier. You're going to be able to have more, I don't like using this term, but real strength. And it's just something that's super, super, super beneficial for you. I'm going to be releasing courses over time on different self-improvement topics, whether it's fitness, mental health. The first two that I'm releasing is a course for beginners who are just now getting into the gym, and a course for like this entire video, but more broken down and even more habits, like each individual modules on the 5 pillars of Christian-based self-improvement, which is what I'm going over now. Step number 5. Relationships slash friendships. I used to be terrified to talk to people. I remember when I was younger, when we would go to Publix, if you don't know, if you're not American, which I'm pretty sure most of my audience is, but to the Americans out there, well, to the non-Americans, Publix is essentially just like a convenience store type thing. It's like a really big one. It's kind of like Walmart or Ross, or not Ross, TJ. I'm only thinking clothes stores. So what's another one? I don't, it just grocery store, just in grocery store. Anyways, I remember that when we would always go in there when I was little, they had a free cookie section in the bakery. They would have a section where you could get free cookies. And I remember my mom would always tell me, if you want a cookie, go over to the lady. And I would throw the biggest hissy fit known to mankind because I was the one who had to go do the cookie. I would beg my mom, go order it for me, go order it for me. I'm scared. I don't want to. I'm scared. I don't want to. Then my mom would order it, then I would eat my cookie, and I would get rewarded for not doing the thing. I wasn't able to speak to people. I wasn't able to have friendships or relationships. All of my friendships during that time was, because this was during COVID, was one girl that I played Roblox with for like 8 hours a day. I think her name was, I want to say Mayoshi. So if Mayoshi is watching this, shout out to you because you were a dope person to hang out with, and I'm so sorry that you turned crazy and I'm pretty sure got sent to a mental asylum. Anyways, that was my best friend during that time. She got sent to a mental asylum. So, anyways, I get it. It's hard talking to people and forming relationships. But the thing is, I'm able to go up to people and I'm able to speak to them, and I'm so free in conversation. It's the most amazing thing. And the thing is, I have people from last year, a year ago, that I've met that I don't even remember their names because it's been so long since I've talked to them, that remember my name, that talked to me about like things that I was speaking about. Like I was talking about fitness or self-improvement or Christianity or any of that stuff. They ask me about it. They're like, "Hey Brandon, what's up? It's been a while." And I'm like, hi. And they're like, have you, how's fitness been going? You still a Christian? Haha. No, nudge, because they're an atheist or whatever. And we had a debate about it. And I'm like, oh yeah, still a Christian, so doing the fitness stuff, like, you know how life goes, like everything's going well. How are you, man? And then they would leave, and I would turn to my friend who I was walking with, and I would be like, who was that guy? And my friend would be like, eh. So I used to set a standard of talking to 10 new people a day, and it's gotten to the point to where all these people know me, and I don't honestly know them, but I've practiced to the point to where I'm able to save and I'm able to maneuver. And genuinely, a part of confidence is just saying like an embarrassing thing. It's embarrassing for me to say, I don't know your name. I'm able to say to these people, yo, bro, honestly, I completely forgot your name. What was it? I'm so sorry. That's the thing, is that it's so freeing. Being social is probably one of the most underrated parts of self-improvement that nobody talks about, that you don't hear anyone speak about. And it's such a powerful thing. And just a side point, I thought this was funny, and what gave me the idea for this module, or gave me the idea for this section, was I was itching my face when my barber was cutting my hair. So many people, and I know this is really relatable for guys on the internet because I'm not the only one who's talked about it. So many people, when they get haircuts, talk about how anxious they are to wipe their face. Can you imagine how weird that is? Your face is itchy, like you have stuff all over your nose, like it tickles, like you want to keep laughing and shifting, and it's uncomfortable, and like you're doing this kind of thing with your fingers because it's just like such an uncomfortable feeling. And so many people feel weird about going, that's it. That's all you have to do, and so many people feel weird about it. And I did it without thinking about it, and I was genuinely so proud of myself, not because like I itched my nose, but because I know when I was younger that was something I was never able to even imagine doing because it was just so scary. I didn't want to move. I didn't want to make inconvenience the other person anyway, and and literally I would just have normal conversation with my barber, talk to people. If people walk by, I say hi to them, like when I'm getting my hair cut or whatever, with the little cape thing on. It's so nice. It's so freeing. And the best tips I can give you, there's four. Number one, no random noises. All the guys who are like, ooh, skibbity, chat, chat, chat. I want to punch them because they're so obnoxious to talk to. Guys don't respect when you make random noises, random sounds. They find it funny. And if you want to be the funny guy, then fine. Stay exactly how you are. Don't do any of the self-improvement stuff. Don't be respectable. Don't be respected by people because that's just how the world works. And oh my God, the random noises is such an obnoxious thing. People who make random noises are just ruining their ability to socialize because it's like a tick. You can't, you know, people with Tourette's, how they're just like it's like that. It's something that they can't stop, and it's something that they don't end. And I don't understand. I do understand it because I was genuinely someone who did that. Maybe not to the extent of some other people, but I was someone who did that. And oh my God, it ruins your ability to talk to people so much because you'll be making eye contact with them and you'll be like, oh my God, I'm making eye contact with them. Oh my God, this is going so well. And they're talking, and you're like, ah, Riz. You look like a retard. You look so stupid. Please, for the love of God, don't do that. Oh my God. Second thing, make eye contact. We're gonna go off random noises completely. Make eye contact. Does that make you uncomfortable? Well, bad. You should be comfortable with looking people in the eyes. That's how you speak to people. Look at any professional debater, look at any professional speaker. The number one thing, one of the first things I say when teaching beginners on how to speak better is make eye contact. Makes you look more confident and makes you more able to think well because you're only focused on one point. Think about this. Vision is probably something that takes a lot of time to process. Like, think about it. Think how high detail our eyes are. It's way more high detail than any monitor that you can even possibly imagine. When you're constantly going, all the movement, all the thinking about the next thing you're going to look at, like subconsciously, all of the worry that you're feeling from not looking at the person, it's so, so, so horrible. You look so unconfident. You look like you don't know what you're talking about when you're giving like a speech or a lecture or whatever. And it just makes you so disengaged, and people want to be less present with you, and you seem less present. The best conversations are conversations that you're present for, that you're fully there, that you're thinking about nothing else because you're just focused on the conversation at hand. So make eye contact. That's something that I get complimented on a ton. And that's why I brought it up, was because a ton of people say, hey, you make really good eye contact. And maybe not with the camera now, because like I'm making eye contact with myself because right here, here's the camera, and then right here, here's the screen that I'm looking at. So I'm making sure like I'm in frame and I don't shift like one way or the other. But oh my God, one of the biggest things, because people genuinely go up to and ask me in person, like, hey, how do you like speak to people? You're really good at that. How do you like do this? How do you do this when it comes to talking to people? I literally just tell them, make eye contact. Don't be weird. Just do the next step, which I'm going to tell you, is volume over quality. Have as many interactions as possible. So that's the volume. You're doing a ton of volume. You're filling up your time with attempts over quality. In the beginning, your attempts at speaking to people, socializing aren't going to be good. You're going to trip over your words. You're going to be like, hi, but your face looks nice today. Or no, sorry, I'm sorry. You're going to look stupid and you're going to feel stupid. But the thing is, when you practice more, when you have more attempts, that anxiety is going to go down. Alex Hormozy quote that I really like is, what is it? Confidence is task specific. And what that means is confidence is specific to the thing that you're doing. And I just said the point, but I phrased it differently, so bear with me. If you're an Olympic level sprinter, you're very confident in your sprinting. But if someone said run a marathon, you wouldn't be so confident. It's still running, still moving your legs throughout motion. You're still performing locomotion, which is a type of human movement. But it's just different. It's still fitness, it's still cardio, but it's just different. You don't have the mind for that. And you being anxious, you being confused on what to do, on how to stride properly, because the technique is different, and all these types of things. It's going to diminish the quality. What would be better is instead of running a marathon one time for the sprinter, it would be running less miles multiple times a week so you can practice more. So this is why I set the standard, and you can even put this on your habit tracker. Speak to 5 to 10 people every single day that you've never talked to before. If you're in school, if it's summertime, you can go to a park, you can go to a public place, you can talk to people. If you're in school, just walk by them and be like, yo, what's up, bro? That's it. Just like stick out your fist. Most people will be like, oh, hey. They'll be on their phone, but if they're on their phone, don't be a weirdo and like force it. But just like kind of like maybe shift over to them just a tiny bit to see if they're willing to like accept your presence or whatever you want to call it. It sounds a little bit weird. I like to imagine a Penguin Z0 reacts to these. And he sat there recording like, well, this guy's a freaking idiot. Anyways, literally just don't be weird about it. Don't force it. Just go up to people, make eye contact. What I like to do is I like to like shift between looking down and up so it's not like completely weird that I'm just staring at them because I'm in real life I'm like kind of muscular and also like I look a little bit weird with the shaven head and I wear tight clothes and jeans and that stuff and I look like I literally look like a bodyguard. Like genuinely. I was standing there the other day in my math class like this, like arms crossed, and I saw like a group of girls like looking at me and laughing and I was like, what the fuck what is wrong with them? And I was like, I probably am stood here like a bodyguard like behind my teacher because they were playing chess or whatever and I want next and they're probably thinking this guy looks like an idiot. That's what I do. Look down, look up. That's my play. And I'll like gradually like lift my hand up. So instead of just like fist bump, bro, all you have to do is just like lower it and then kind of raise it and then like maybe purposefully look like you're a little bit anxious while not being anxious, but just like lift it up slowly and be like, yo, what's good, bro? That's it. That's one person. It's so easy. If you can't do 5 to 10 people, do one. Talk to a teacher you've never spoken to before. Teachers are either going to be douches or they're going to be nice regardless. You know you're going to get one of two things. Obviously, you're going to hope for the nice person, but at the same time, teachers are one of two. They're either going to be nice to you or they're going to be mean to you because teachers are just completely miserable. That's it. So, talk to a teacher, talk to a person. Next thing. So I'm going to actually reemphasize that a little bit. Volume over quality. Don't focus on the conversations being good. Don't focus on them being valuable or teaching people something or like laughing and joking and like belly laughs and you guys are best friends for the rest of your life. Talk to as many people as possible. Next thing, speak at a regular volume. A ton of guys, when I speak to them, they'll talk like this. And they'll sit here and they'll say and not be very confident, still not make eye contact. And they'll be like, yo, hey, bro, what's your favorite color? You look stupid. Stop it. I was watching a speaking coach, and I forget his name. I always forget his name whenever I talk about him. But I was watching a speaking coach, and he would talk about one of the number one things that all of his clients do wrong is speak with a low voice. Not low like deep, like, hey, how are you doing? But low as in quiet. You want to speak at a volume to where you're comfortable and that people can hear you, to where maybe you're a little bit louder than most people. I speak so loud regularly that my girlfriend, when we're in our art class together, because we take an art class in school, it's a requirement. I'm not gay, I promise. Anyways, um, she would freak out when I would talk because the room would be silent and I would just be like, hey, do you have the blue? Do you have the blue pencil? Maybe do you have the red coloring pencil? She would freak out because I would talk at a normal volume. But for me, I speak at the same volume, whether I'm in a loud room, a quiet room. And this is just a volume that I naturally talk. I'm not like putting on an act or anything for you. This is literally just how I act in real life. And if I was talking to someone, I would be explaining things and speaking, and it would just be a whole thing. And this exudes confidence, this exudes presence, this exudes authority even. So when you're talking and you're super quiet like this and like no one can hear you and you're saying something and then someone interrupts you and then you're like, "Oh, I got interrupted. I suck." Yeah, because no one hears you and nobody cares about what you say. Versus if you're loud and someone interrupts you, they interrupt you and they're like, "Oh, so but actually," and you're just like, "No, no, 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 like oh, hold on, I'm finishing my point." Most people, if they aren't like jerks, they'll be like, "Oh, oops," and they might do it again because like low attention span or whatever. But yo, you talking loud and being authoritative literally just saved you from being interrupted, being humiliated, even, and setting the bad standard of the group that you're allowed to be interrupted. And it's not like in a toxic way. It's not like, "You shall not interrupt me ever when I speak." If somebody has a good point, let them interrupt you. If you guys are debating, I think it's fine to interrupt sometimes. But the thing is, it's the type of way that you get interrupted because people interrupt me. But it's if like we're having a back and forth conversation, or if I'm screwing around with my friend, I'm like giving him crap and I'm making a point about how he's stupid and his wrists are skinny, and he's like, "No, but you're short," and then we laugh about it. Speak loud. A lesson that I learned from the book How to Win Friends and Influence People. These are some of the main points. Some of them are listen more than you speak. So listen to other people more than you talk. Let them talk about themselves. Let them talk about their hobbies. When you guys are having like intellectual conversation, try and get their viewpoint because your entire point is to learn and expand on your knowledge. And if somebody says something smart or has a smart idea, you want to be able to understand it, ask questions. If someone phrases something weird and you don't understand it, be like, "Yo, what did you mean like that? What did you mean by that?" So simple, but nobody ever does it. What did you mean by that? Somebody's talking about like how I had a teacher, or my teacher had a sub, but I'm going to be telling it from the first person. This guy would talk about how specific radio frequencies, when paired together, would help you increase focus. And he was explaining it, and my teacher didn't really understand it. And he was like, or she, my teacher, she had asked him, "What does that mean? What do you mean radio frequencies improve focus?" And he went over the science and he showed the studies, and she was like, "Oh my God, this thing works." I thought he was crazy. Asking questions completely can shift your perspective on someone. And it can go both ways. You can see it as more negative, like somebody says a racist comment and you think they're joking, but you go, "What did you mean by that?" And they say, like, "Oh, yeah, I hate all black people. Kill them all, lynch them." Calm down, buddy. Chill out. But the thing is, at least now you know. Next thing, be appropriate or be appreciative, sorry. Show gratitude, show appreciation. This is another thing when it comes to telling people when you're grateful for from our previous habits. Saying, hey, bro, I had a really good conversation with you earlier. Nice meeting you." I put a smiley face in my notes. Doing that is 100 times more beneficial for making friends, for speaking to people, to becoming the guy that people actually like talking to, than it is to just yap on about yourself and say, like, "Okay, bye, gotta go to class." People like feeling appreciated. And if you say, "You know, man, I actually had like a really good conversation with you," you're a cool dude. "I'll see you later. I gotta head to class. Bye bye. I really appreciate the conversation we had." And then you walk off and he says the same thing. As long as both of you feel mutual about, yeah, that was a good conversation, he's not lying to you and like, "Yeah, good conversation." He's thinking you're an idiot in the back of his head and he never wants to see you again. or even a girl. Let's say girl because it sounds kind of gay saying he never wants to see you. And I'm talking about like friendships specifically. Calm down. When you show that level of appreciation, that's how you make friends. Through first impressions. That's our first impression of you. Next thing, remember names. I've learned literally hundreds of names. I know pretty much every single person by name in my school who are my year and above me, other than like the fourth years of seniors. I know pretty much all of their names. And oh my God, it is the craziest thing. I'll think it'll be like this because again I told you about my goal of like speaking to 10 new people a day. Eventually I just ran out of people and now I'm kind of capped at the level I can socialize, and when I'm out in public I always make it a point to go out and like talk to someone new. But oh my God, this is bringing back so many memories. There's been so many times where I'll be speaking to someone for what I think is the first time. They'll already know me because I talked to them before and they had a good conversation with me. I don't remember them in the slightest. And then as we're talking, their name will come up in like my memory bank. And I'll be like, oh yeah, Katie. Yeah, the nice talking to you again. I'll see you around. I didn't know who she was like 5 minutes ago. But the thing is, how remembering memory works is you don't remember everyone's name verbatim unless you genuinely know that person. You talk to them on a regular basis. You store it in your memory bank. And how this works is you have to be healthy, you have to be slept, you have to be good, set it as like a conscious goal to remember these people's intentions and remember who they are just as people. But at a certain point, as you start to prioritize remembering names, you get better at remembering names. Funny how that works. So as you start to approach more people, as you start to learn more names, literally just when you go off from them, this is the easiest way to like make a friend. Say you appreciate them, you had a good conversation with them, just however format you want to do that. Be like, yeah, that was fun, bro. Anyways, what's your name? Just ask them what their name is. They'll be like, oh, my name's Ryan. They'll probably ask you what your name is. If it's a girl, she's like, oh yeah, what's your name? The like red pill space always talks about her being interested in you. If she asks what your name is, I think the bitch is just being polite, to be honest. I've seen a ton of people try that and it never really works out. And that's something that I tried in the past and it kind of worked, but like I was also cute and suave and like kind of muscular compared to the people around me. So who knows? Um, but the thing is, if you get their name, if you remember the name, next time you speak to them, then they're gonna be like, "Whoa, this guy's so awesome! I like this dude. He's so dope." Next thing, this is specific to guys. Be respectful, like if you fought them, it would destroy the village Dragon Ball Z style. If you've ever watched Dragon Ball before, when the two main characters fight, it destroys mountains and villages and planets and all this kind of stuff. Be respectful, not to the point of fear. If you're talking to a guy, don't be scared of him if he's like tall, jacked, like sports player. You kind of know he's a little bit unhinged, like he'll fight you if you say something sideways to him. Don't don't be scared of him because being scared implies that in my philosophy of being scared of someone implies that you think that they can kill you. And if they can't kill you, then you're fine. I don't think there are many people on the planet who can genuinely kill me other than like actual trained fighters and maybe like the best football players in the world who are like 400 pounds and like can run a 5 second 40-meter dash. Being scared of them implies that you think that they can kill you. And even then, I'm not scared of the act of dying, but I'm scared that they're the person who can inflict that on me. And the thing is, when you respect them to the point to where there's a mutual respect and being in shape and being like charismatic and respectable just as a person helps a ton with this. But if you fought them, for guys especially, because it is deeply in our evolution that guys fight each other for dominance or whatever it is, if you fight them, you want to you want to not cause that. So don't say anything sideways to them. Don't let them say anything sideways to you if they like make a comment at you and you don't really know them. Obviously, if it's like your best friend, it's completely different. You're like, hey, dickhead. See? Jokes are different. But if it's a case of you're speaking to someone you've never really talked to before and they're like, you're short, you also look gay. Be like, don't talk to me like that. I don't know you like that. Shut up. Like, what is wrong with you? And most people either continue and even then just don't talk to that person again. If you just met them, they're not nearly important enough to where you need to speak to them. And if they stop, then maybe that's a friend because they listen to you and they respect you. And obviously do the same for them. If you make a sideways joke and they're like, hey, I didn't really like that, apologize. Or if you know the joke was sideways after the fact, apologize. Next thing, slightly teasing works really well to show that you're comfortable with the person. So you be respectful, but slightly teasing them is completely fine with guys and girls. So let's say that the other day, somebody in one of my classes during lunchtime, because I go to my teacher's room we were working on a puzzle together. And I went to my teacher's room to just hang out, do stuff. And there was a kid who was sitting on a desk. Like he wasn't in the desk, he was sitting on top of it. So he was sitting on like the table bit where you put your paper. He was sat down and something had happened. There was a loud bang. I look over and he's on the floor and the desk is over. I walk over, like, because I'm a nice guy and I understand that that's embarrassing. I walk over and I like yell to everyone, like, shut up, this didn't happen, nobody saw anything. And because I'm, again, look like a friggin' security guard, people didn't really say anything after I said that. And I walk over, I help him fix his desk because it had fallen over. I picked it up for him. And I was like, hey, are you all right? And he's like, yeah. And I'm like, yeah, sitting down's very hard. I struggle with it also. I was being a douche, but I helped him and it was embarrassing. And he knows that I wasn't serious. And it was teasing. And I didn't speak to him after, but we made eye contact a few times and like gave each other nods and all that kind of stuff. And I don't know, it's just not teasing to the point of being a douchebag, but teasing to the point of like giving someone crap, honestly, is how you build a friendship, is just being negative towards each other in a jokeful way, in a playful way. With girls, it's the biggest cheat code I can give you. It's just teasing them to where they go, oh my God, stop. That's so mean. Oh my goodness. Hey, you stupid face. I don't like that. You're dumb. Getting them to hit as many emotions as possible literally is the biggest cheat code. And teasing is at least 4 of those emotions that I can think of. So, you will have to learn when to use or when not to use it. But the thing is that when it comes to teasing people and screwing with them and kind of being like, not insulting, but a little bit insulting, it's such a good way to build a friendship, especially with guys. With girls, it's a little bit different. You have to be nicer to them. But with guys who have penises, who have testosterone, who are into self-improvement, who genuinely like don't take anything super, super seriously outside of like their faith, it's honestly a really good time to hang out. So that is everything. Some practical tips for you is being autistic, just say whatever it is you're thinking. Literally, if you're talking to a girl and you see like her earring flicker and you're like, that's a really nice looking earring, just say it literally in the middle of her talking. She'll be like, oh my God, like I was talking to Ryan and like this thing happened and like he was such a dick, like oh my God. And you're like, your earring looks really nice. He's like, oh my God, thank you. Sleep with me. Something like that. Next thing, talk to 5 to 10 people per day. It seems scary. It's not. Prioritize old dudes or prioritize old people and dudes. Those are the easiest people to talk to. Old people because they're generally happy, and when they see a young guy, like asking them how their day is, they don't really experience that very often. So it's kind of a new thing. Some people might be douches to you or whatever and like shoo you off and tell you to go away and say they're not interested or whatever. But up until that point, most people are really nice and prioritize dudes because guys are just more social with each other and they feel less awkward. And that's mostly for you. If you're too scared to talk to girls like I was, I'm going to be fully dead honest, then just don't talk to them yet. Progressively overload. Work on building up to that point. Talk to guys, then lesbians, then ugly chicks, then pretty chicks, then even more pretty chicks. Flirt with them, stuff like that. If you want to improve. I'm not saying that's what I do. I have a girlfriend. But those are things that will help you a ton in your journey. Next thing, ask close friends to help you. Ask them, hey, do I keep eye contact? Am I speaking like rambling on? Am I not letting you talk enough? Most reasonable people wouldn't make fun of you for that. Most reasonable people would actually be very appreciative at the fact that you even asked them that. And they'd be very happy that you did. So ask them, hey, where can I improve in this area to like help our relationship? You don't have to say it so formal, but obviously like you're going to say something similar to that. And I would say saying it formal because I speak formal just in general. I use like honestly a lot of profanity, which I shouldn't be doing. But I speak with pretty decent vocabulary, a pretty big range of words, and that's just how I like speaking. You don't have to copy me if you want to. You can, but be unique, be authentic, all that kind of stuff. So that has been number 5, relationships and friendships. Step number 6, work/purpose. Humans are designed to work. If you've ever heard the saying of the second you stop working is when you die, after like people retire or they stop working or they even have like some kind of sickness or injury that appears and it causes them to stop working. That's typically when they die. Like, think about that. Think about how crazy that is. You can have a perfectly healthy 60 or 70-year-old man. You can have completely healthy, no physical ailments, decent shape, eats a clean diet. But within a few years of them stopping working, they always seem to just pass. That's because humans are made to work. And if you want to work even better and you really want the cheat code for how to work more, I think it was Mark Twain who said, if you're passionate about art, if you love what you're doing, you'll never work a day in your life. You can work, but you can love it at the same time. And obviously, it's not going to be a case of like, well, you love it every day. I don't love recording these every day, but I'm really passionate. This feels very purposeful for me. So we're going to get to that. I'm going to give you a few quotes and then to explain to you how purpose works. And then I'm going to tell like some more personal stories. And then I'm going to give you some lessons and some actionables. And I'm going to go into how to actually work. So I'm going to be telling you what it even means to work, like what work actually is, what purpose actually is. And I'm going to be telling you how to do that. All right. So in Jeremiah 1:5 in the Bible, Jesus said, before I formed you in the womb, I knew you. This is Jesus speaking what God's intention was for people. So before we formed in the womb, he knew us. Know in the Bible means essentially having an understanding, knowing the spirit more than knowing the mind. In Luke 12:7, it says, even the hairs on your head are all numbered. This shows that God created us with intention. He gave us a specific number of hair on our heads. He's such an intelligent creator that he gave us literally every single attribute that we have on purpose. And he allowed each attribute to come in purposefully and without any sense of randomness, even though we are all different. In Matthew 25:15, it says, to, sorry, I had to look over my notes. I'm horrible at reading. Horrible at reading out loud. I can read in my head just fine. In Matthew 25:15, it says, to one he gave 5 talents, to another 2, to another 1, each according to his ability. If you've ever seen people who have multiple companies, who have multiple, I don't know, self-improvement channels, let's say, if you've seen people who are in really good shape, if you've seen people who have really good relationships and always just seem to be lucky and things happen well for them, it's because they were given the ability to handle it. And the thing with this one, my theory with this is you can have God allow you more talents. You just have to become and show that you can handle them. You need to become the person that is able to handle them through your action. I think that's a very interesting quote, so I'm going to read it again. To one he gave 5 talents, to another 2, to another 1, each according to his ability. See, I've had 50 purposes in my own life, and it's all dependent on the season that I'm in. I've had times in my life where sport was the most purposeful thing in all of existence. When I wrestled, it was super purposeful. When I played volleyball, it was super purposeful. When I make YouTube videos, it's super purposeful. When back in the day when I was depressed and playing video games every day, genuinely getting like I played this server on Minecraft, getting my Hypixel wins, like dual wins up where you like 1v1 someone, getting my wins up felt super purposeful. So purpose is based more on the season. It's not on the desired result because you're never going to hit a result that can fulfill you for the rest of your life. It always shifts. And I kind of like to think of it as a checklist. So it's get in really good shape, check. And then there's a continuation of it. And then it's be super mindful, check. Teach other people how to improve themselves and do better in life and spread the word of God, check. Give it to as big of a space as possible, check. Learn constantly, learn more, do actionables, work very hard, teach people more, check. I don't think of it as, okay, when I have $1 million in my bank account with this business model, that's when I've hit my purpose. That's when I've achieved it all. No, that's not how that works. So, actionable step for you. What's the most important thing in your life right now? Really think about it. Write it down, journal it. If you already have it, click off this video and now go do something about it. Because now you know. If you're interested in how to work better, then this is for you. There's a difference between deep work and shallow work. I'm going to be going over shallow work first. So, shallow work, let's say you're at your laptop, let's say you're writing an ebook, for example. For shallow work, what you would do is you would be randomly switching from tab to tab. You would kind of every once in a while go on like YouTube or whatever, or Instagram, and scroll for a couple of seconds and then go back to what you're doing and then like go back and forth. And it's been a decent amount of time and stuff has got done, but you haven't really done a ton. You haven't really done a lot. If you get interrupted by your parents or your roommates and they're kind of banging on your door like, hey, can you come do this thing? Hey, do you want to do this? And you're getting interrupted constantly. You hear them outside your door. That's a little shallow. Shallow work is essentially unfocused work. Work where you're technically working, things are going onto the paper, but it's not very present. It's not like a deep meditative type of work. It's more so you're just existing at your workstation. This isn't what we want. We want to minimize this as much as possible because time is one of the most important things you can have as a human. There is nothing more important than time, and there's nothing more important than age. And those two things correlate with each other. And you need to decide based on your age, what do you put your time into? Because obviously, like if you're a young kid, you have to go to school. I'm sure you want to experience like going to a party at some point in your life. I'm not saying any of that stuff is bad. Just monitor it and make sure it's not like all of your time constantly. But when it comes to work and your purpose and the thing that you're doing, you want to spend as much deep time as possible. So, how do you do that? It's something called deep work. This is when you're focused. This is when you do work at a time where you can be uninterrupted, where you're in a flow state, where you're just working. You're not really thinking much, but things are just happening and they're all high quality. You can do this by doing something that I really love is eating the frog. It's basically the idea of when you first wake up in the morning is doing the hardest task. I wake up at 5 o'clock. It is currently 5:31 and I'm recording this and I was like reviewing script and I was kind of like staring myself in the mirror because I'm tired and I honestly didn't want to record this, but now I'm enjoying it. So eating the frog is when you do the hardest thing first thing in the morning. I think that you can only really accomplish this if you live with people anywhere between 5 and 6 a.m. and then around 7 or 8, most people are awake. So that's kind of your time frame. If you're able to work better at night, some people are like that. I went through periods where I'm better like that and where I'm not. Sometimes I work at night, sometimes I work in the morning better. Right now I work in the morning better, but I think it really is dependent on the season and kind of what you're used to based on your circadian rhythm, which we kind of talked about briefly before. Next thing is caffeine. If you look, I have coffee with me. Caffeine It's a stimulative. It makes your brain work better, makes you more awake, especially if you're not an expert at sleep. Like I'm not. I'm horrible at sleeping, and I'm actually going to be making a video on that very soon because of the fact that it's really bad. And if I improve it, that's probably going to help a lot of people. So that's probably going to be one of the next things. But caffeine, you know the drill. Sleep, obviously, is the most important thing for human health. I believe that the difference between, I want to say this, the study that I heard Brian Johnson talk about. If you don't know who Brian Johnson is, he's like literally the healthiest person in the world, like statistically. And he talks about and how to be healthier. And he says sleep is the most important thing. You have like a sleep score depending on like the sleeping app you use. It's based on like how deep you sleep and how high quality the sleep was. If you go on and you get 100, that's like absolutely insane. Like you're a freak. Like you got the best night of sleep humanly possible. Brian Johnson has been proven to get that multiple, like every day for months at a time. So sleep is very important. And I remember him talking about, or that's who Brian Johnson is. I'm getting on to why sleep's important. I heard him talking about a study that he ran because he has his own app and everything. A study that he ran through his own app with like 20 or 30,000 people was that a, I think anything 5 hours or less reduced cognitive function by 40 to 60%. That is absolutely insane. Can you imagine that being 50% dumber because you didn't sleep for an extra 3 hours? That is insane. That is crazy. So if you're watching this and it's your bedtime, literally just go to sleep. You're not comprehending things at this point anyway. Just go to bed, watch it in the morning, save it to your watch later. Literally make this your eat the frog task. So first thing you do in the morning when you wake up, watch this. Go through it, look at everything that needs to be looked at, and just be a learner, be somebody who's gonna look at this and actually take action on it. That's the only goal with this, is just to help as many people as possible. Next thing is meditation slash removing social media. So meditation, what it does, if you focus on mindfulness meditation, you close your eyes, you take a deep breath in, you go, and you do that repeatedly while you focus on your breath. That's actually going to help you maintain present, which is very, very good for your attention span. Everybody has such a horrible attention span, it's not even funny. And the reason why I paired social media with this is because meditation is like the counter to scrolling on Instagram. So like, let's say you're on your phone. You have your phone here. You start scrolling. That's worsening your attention span because it's like really quick snippets of whatever it is that you're looking at, and just it's just, imagine it. When in life did cavemen, for example, have to completely shift their focus and emotional state based on 60 or 30 to 60 seconds? That wasn't a thing. So when we do it, it worsens our attention span. If you've ever seen like those girls, I had one girl I saw in my gym class who I was sitting behind her, and it was on like the little I forget what they're called like off the top of my head, but it was the little like seat thingies that the stands. And she was sat below me. I was sat above her. I was maybe like 2 seats back, so I was like a decent distance. I wasn't like right on top of her or anything. But I remember looking down and seeing her go like this. Look how fast my finger's going. For like 3 minutes straight, I was baffled by how bad this woman's attention span was. And the thing is, it's not really people's fault. That's the crazy thing. It's not really people's fault, and it's not really your fault, but you do have to take responsibility for it because there's something you can do about it. The thing is, these multi-billion dollar corporations are so good at capturing your attention that, yeah, you're addicted to their platform. That's their goal. But the thing is, you need to be able to counter that because in order to actually live a life where you're living, you need to be present. And these apps take away your present. You shouldn't be on YouTube for basically anything. Like, when was the last time you used a search bar for YouTube? Probably not that often. Probably not in a way to where it was intentional and you actually learned something that changed your life. Most of your stuff comes through recommended. And as a beginner on self-improvement and as a beginner on Christian-based self-improvement, yeah, I understand. I understand that you do actually learn a lot from your recommended, but at a certain point, you will realize that you don't. And meditation is going to be the thing that allows you to just be present and be happy within your own mind. So, that is everything. Now that you've watched this full guide, you're ready to embark on a more happy and a more fulfilled life. Go to the link below where I'll be shortly releasing information about like Christian-based improvement courses and all that kind of stuff. It's not out yet. It's going to be in pre-sale very soon. I kind of have to figure out how everything works, but I do have a free community in the description where you can hear more about that if you're interested in it. I hope I gave you a ton of value. This has been everything. My name is Brandon. Keep doing the best at doing your best. Trust God. Signing off.